Let's see. Should be good, I imagine. Is it good?
Mm,
Is it good? Yeah.
mm,
Is it
Okay.
good? Yeah.
mm.
Okay. And you can see my
I'm here in a
screen?
loop. Yes, I can see you.
Okay,
I can
awesome.
see your screen.
All right. So you're playing Young Link?
Yes, because so for the longest time, like I've been playing Puff, but it really hasn't been getting me anywhere. I've been trying to mingle with a bunch of different characters. I've been going between uh like PT. I've been going to I've tried Mewtwo for a little bit. There's a bunch of characters
Mm.
that I like playing and that I have been. Oh, I'm also trying to prepare a little bit for like Squad Strike, but out
Hmm.
of all the characters I've been going through, Young Link has like been kind of. They've felt the best for me and also have gotten me the best results as of recent. So I was thinking that I would try to get that as good as I could get it before Low Tide City.
Okay, yeah, awesome. Makes sense. Cool. There is a lot we could talk about. Feel free to ask any questions or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
this is all like
Yeah.
intended to like
No.
be whatever you need it to be.
Mhm.
So feel free
Real,
at any
real
point.
quick, I'm gonna get a Google Docs going so I can maybe take some
Yeah,
notes
yeah, feel
just
free.
in case.
And
Yeah.
I
Okay.
need to ask you, are these games on online or in person?
They are. I will say they are online. I know it's
Okay.
not. It's a different kind of translation from online to offline because the whole thing of internet connection and how it
Yeah.
actually buffers through controls is a little different. But um, yeah, hopefully it should
No,
like.
it'll still be good.
Yeah.
Um, it's just something that I need to keep in mind
Hmm.
because um, there's a lot you can learn through online. I'm not gonna say like it's strictly bad. I played online, during the like COVID era, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
I personally don't particularly like it that much, but I do
Hmm.
still see that there's a lot of value in like how you
Yeah.
can learn online. But there is one big caveat, right? Which
Hmm.
is obviously the input delay, like additional
Right.
input delay. And
Yeah.
one of the things that affects specifically for Young Link is a lot of our confirms, especially like at low percents,
Hmm.
are like they're reaction heavy. Like you have to react to whether you're like hit confirming, you have to react to people's DI, and that's
Hmm.
simply not possible in many instances online,
Mm.
which forces you
Yeah.
to guess. And so it's something that I'll have to keep in mind when I'm watching this. And, we can sort of talk about, maybe things you could do offline, but you can't do online
Mm.
really.
Yeah.
Because it is a bit different.
I just don't have too many outlets like time wise
Mm,
or like location wise or like people wise to actually like go in person and just play a crap ton of offline that could do me a lot of good. Other than me being by myself and just labbing the shit out of
right.
whatever I can, unless I'm actually like trying to play against other people, like just
No,
I
I
it doesn't
I
really
agree
translate.
it's better to play against people than to like just lab on your own. But yeah, usually
Hmm.
I recommend if you have the opportunity, I think it's better to practice offline than online
Yeah.
because you can also build up bad habits, right, from like playing
Right.
online all the time.
Hmm.
But okay, we can get into it. Um, so start out
So
neutral. Yeah.
yeah, I will say this is my winning match. I won
Okay.
against this link.
Yeah.
So
Sounds good. So I'll start with a few notes.
wait, we're like 3 frames in.
Huh?
No, no, go ahead. No, sorry.
Oh
I'm
no, no, no.
just
I meant notes, not about the interaction. I meant notes just about
okay.
like Young Link and stages and stuff like that.
Oh, like yeah. Okay, okay. Sorry.
Yeah,
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 go
yeah.
for it.
No, no, no. You're good. So basically, Young Link. Okay, here, there's like two main things that like Young Link does well, right? So he has really good projectiles, and then he has really good startup frames on his aerials, and he has like very little like minus frames on doing like like landing aerials and like down tilt. So like he can be safe on shield if you do your aerials like landing, if you and you use like the spacing that you can. Um, and so and again, just frame data wise, he's good at boxing. So you basically just have to stuff out your opponent with speed. Um, so so basically, I personally, I'm a very conservative young link. I'm a very like defensive player. I try to usually control the pace of the game with projectiles, and then um, using the projectiles both to get free percent, because obviously like someone's across the screen and they're getting hit, you're not at risk of getting hit yourself. That's free percent, right? Like you usually what you want to do in the game is like minimize the chances that you can lose, maximize the chances you can win. That seems straightforward enough, right? But like obviously putting yourself at like no risk situations, even if they have like say a low likelihood of working, which is very much true like the higher you go up in skill. Like when you see me like, or if you play like young link against like a low or mid-level player, you'll probably get a lot of percent with like long range projectiles, right? And like the higher you get, like the better opponents you play, you'll probably start like getting like less and less percent. Like it becomes harder, right? So because like
Yeah.
projectiles are very reactable, like boomerang comes out like frame 33, like arrow comes out frame 14. I mean, and that's the closest. That's like the very very closest, like point blank, right? Bomb is
Hmm.
frame 40 to pull, though it is fast after. To throw it, it's frame 7 to throw, so that's pretty
Mm.
fast. But
Yeah.
anyway, point being though, even though a lot of this stuff is reactable, you can control the pace of the game, and you can still, even if it's like it's just an execution check, and even if it's not a particularly hard execution check, you're still sort of through projectiles, you can sort of rack up free wins, right? Just by not putting yourself at risk, but putting your opponent at risk, right?
Right.
With hitboxes. And again, I think that's usually how I think about the game. I just want to minimize risk, maximize reward, right? That's usually how you can be most consistent at winning. The other thing that projectiles do is they can also condition your opponent, right? So if you're controlling like aerial space with boomerang, then you know that like there's certain angles that they can't approach at. So like let's say they're more likely to do a grounded approach. And if they're more likely to do a grounded approach, that makes it easier for you to say do a grab call out or do like a down tilt, or do you know what I mean? Like it if you were more likely if you're more likely to know how your opponent's going to react, it's easier for you to get a quote unquote like a read of sorts, right? Even if it's like a very like light read of like, okay, he's probably going to just like walk forward granted. That's still,
Yeah,
that
it's
still
more
lets
like
you,
actions you can take to
yeah,
like get them to do things that you want them to do. It's the whole
exactly.
controlling aspect of it. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's my general thoughts on just like the game plan. Obviously, it's a bit more complex, like easier said than done kind of thing, right? Because then you start getting into okay, well, you have to take your opponent's hitboxes and speed into account. Like if because a lot of projectiles they can get hitbox extended by opponents, so it's like technically a lot of projectiles aren't safe because they can come in and they can like actually eat your projectile or just avoid the projectile and hit you anyway, so you have to be very cognizant of like the angles and the distances. And then two is even though projectiles are technically safe, you still have to think about like stage positioning and not like
And
like if
spacing, kind
you're
of just not
yeah,
putting yourself
because
in a position where, yeah.
even if you throw out a boomerang, right? If you're putting yourself in a bad like position, like let's say you throw out the boomerang, you don't get punished for throwing out the boomerang, but
Hmm.
if you're putting yourself in a bad position, even though you didn't get punished for the option, you might get punished on your next option because you've put yourself in a bad position. So obviously that can include like cornering yourself and like in a very like precarious situation, or it can mean like jumping, like double jumping above someone and like not having a plan to get down, right? There's obviously, so again, it's sort of easier said than done, but that's sort of how I think about the game. The other thing I was going to mention is Young Link also obviously has pretty strong combo game, especially
Yeah.
on platforms. Um,
Mm.
FD, I think FD is fine. I think it's very much matchup dependent. There's a lot like you can keep a lot of people from like landing and from like getting in on you in FD, but then FD is
Hmm.
just like a very polarizing stage generally speaking because it also means that
Right.
you have a harder time landing when you're in disadvantage, and Young Link has a pretty so pretty poor disadvantage.
Mm,
So it can be very scary for you if you ever lose control. It's just like a pretty polarizing stage.
gotcha.
But
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with FD. Like I pick FD sometimes.
Hmm.
Um, like I think FD is good against, like I don't know, it can be good against Bowser or
Right.
against, just some characters that you can stuff out really easily. And
Yeah.
but again, it does make like your disadvantage state worse as well because you
Okay.
don't have
Yeah.
platform mix-ups. It also makes your combo game worse as well. So it's
Yeah.
just
No,
something to keep in
that's
mind.
important.
Um, I think that's my okay. So those are my starting notes, and now let's get into some gameplay. So, okay, you started, and I'll just talk about this interaction at the very start. This was, obviously, like because you got punished. I mean, it's obvious to say, but obviously the starting out with the fire arrow in neutral. So like again, let's think about like what that covers, because you also did it in place, right? So fire
Right.
arrowing in neutral at the start of the game at like this distance. Um, it's like I'm not gonna say it's like bad. It's not super bad, but it's also not great because
Yeah.
basically it covers one option. It covers him like walking forward or like running forward. It doesn't cover anything
Yeah.
else, right? Like if he jumps, like obviously he gets a punish. If he shields, then you reset your neutral and you didn't establish anything. Um,
Right.
Doing it in place is also again like riskier. So usually you want to be using projectiles like with some movement because
Right.
movement makes your projectiles safer essentially, right? So if you did like a slight short hop back and like arrow or boomerang, like that's generally safer than like doing arrow in place.
Like
I'm not
cover the
saying don't do projectiles in place. It's just going to be a positioning thing.
right. Yeah. Because the jumping backwards could have covered their jump. It could have
Hmm.
put you back in a easier spot of less risk. So yeah. No,
Yeah,
that
like if
makes
you
sense.
jump back, it's like what is he going to hit you with? He doesn't have anything, right? Like he can throw out his own boomerang, but then like your boomerang can clank with his boomerang. Like there's really no risk. Again, you're not necessarily establishing a ton of pressure, but again, I tend to be very like setup focused. So I'm like, okay, if I want to get an opportunity to set up my boomerang because even if your boomerang doesn't hit, returning boomerang is now a tool that's at your disposal, right? So you can reversal people, you can protect yourself. You can also pick up like take out a bomb, right? Again, I'm
Right.
very like setup heavy. I'm like whenever I have space to get some like no risk projectiles, I will do
Hmm.
so. And then the more like the medium higher risk projectiles is going to be more dependent on the game situation. But whenever you're at low percents, like there's no kill, there's no real like read that you have to go for. Usually I opt for let's just get some safe spacing and let's set up some safe pressure with like boomerang or bomb, right? Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay, so let's go into this. Okay, so you did a forward air. It's a pretty risky forward air. So that again, that's a read essentially, is what this is, right? So this is
Yeah.
this is a read on him jumping forward.
Hmm.
Because again, so he's staying back. He's probably going to boomerang. He's probably going to hit you for this, right?
Yeah.
Um, this loses to multiple things. Like this is pretty. It's a pretty laggy move. It's like both to come out and and the unlag if you don't like land cancel it. Um, so this can get stuffed out by an F tilt, right? It can get stuffed out by an F smash. It can get stuffed out by boomerang. Down tilt as well. Like there's a lot of stuff, right? Basically, this is a spacing issue, and you're just going for a read, which I'm not gonna say reads are bad. I go for reads, but whenever you go for reads, you kind of have to be thinking about whether it's a good read, right? Like, is it a read that's worth it? And let me sort of explain some thought process on like how you can determine if a read is worth it. So first of all, as I just explained, this is a sort of like a high risk sort of read, right? Like you're putting yourself in a very vulnerable position if the read doesn't land, right?
Right.
Okay, but now let's think. That doesn't mean the read is bad. Let's
Mhm.
talk about okay, what would have happened if you hit the read? well, okay, forward air does some decent damage. You'll do like, I don't know, 15% or something like that. Like, okay, that that's decent. I mean, it's not crazy, but it's decent. Um,
It
can you
could
get a
also be a
follow up
combo
off of
starter.
it? Yeah, is it a combo
Yeah.
starter? It's not. It's not a combo starter.
Well,
Um,
well, okay.
at
Yeah,
least
no,
not
that's
like
important.
this, right? If you're gonna do a
Right,
combo
okay.
starter, you would have to do like a landing forward air one, which this is not a landing forward air one, right? This is a.
No, yeah, it was falling, but it was the full forward and not the
Mhm.
first hitbox that would have. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's again, that's like those are things to think about. So for me, this is a bad read because even if you hit it, you're not getting anything out of it other than the hit itself, right? And the thing with Younglink too is Younglink is literally a lightweight character. Trades are
Right.
bad for you. You cannot afford to go for 50-50 like reads. Like when you hit one and you lose one, that's fine. It's not fine. It's not fine for Younglink. You have to be winning neutral most of the time. If you're not winning neutral most of the time, then you're at a disadvantage, right? So again, just little notes on that. Okay, you're able to land before Boomerang comes out. Good shield. And again, another read on the forward air. This one's not quite as bad because he was closer, and so it had a higher likelihood to hit. But I still think it's a little committal. And yeah, you did about 15%.
And
That
again.
one was better because he's in disadvantage, right? And
Hmm.
he again he could technically have reversaled you with a nair. Your nair would have stuffed you out, but it's a slightly better option to go in that position. Okay, you caught him. I think this is a back throw. This is bad at low percents. Um,
Yeah, no,
zero.
yeah, okay.
Oh, are you
So no,
aware?
no, I'm immediately thinking like, oh, low percent. I could have totally gotten something better with. I think in this like play session that I was having, but just like I think I was having bad habits. That a better option would have been like down throw
Yeah.
into up air
Yep.
or like
Or up throw
something up
into
into
up
a
air.
follow up.
Yep. Yeah. So
Right.
at low percents, at like 0 to like 15%, up throw into up air is like true on like basically everyone. Um, you can also do down throw even at 0% technically, but especially once you're past like 10%, you pretty much always want to do down throw up until like maybe like 80%. If you down throw anywhere from like 40 0 no, sorry, so like 0 to 40 or like 0 to 80-ish%, it's always true to get either an up air follow up or a back air follow up. And again, that's one of the things that you can't really predict online because it's going to be DI dependent. You can react offline, but you can't react online. So yeah, it's always optimal to go for basically here. It's pretty much always optimal to go for like a down throw, and then you can either up air or like back air.
So, yeah.
Okay, so you shield that. This is a very, very, very high nair on your shield. Nair is obviously a very safe move, but you can obviously the higher move is on shield, right? The more minus it is. Again,
Right.
this being Wi-Fi, maybe you want to just get like a nair or back air out of this because you might not be able to react with like something meteor like this might be like a frame perfect like up out of shield if you know what I mean. Like if you were offline, but you probably can't react to that online. So
Right.
you drop shield and you do an F tilt. So that's not what you want to do. So shield dropping on the ground is 11 frames. And then your F tilt is going to be like another, what is it, like 9 frames? Young Link Smash Ultimate frame data. Let's look at it real quick. F tilt. Yeah, 10 frames. So this is actually, you just did a frame 19. Wait, no, sorry. A frame 21 option. You just did a frame 21 option. Whereas if you had done a back air out of shield, that would have been a frame 9 option. Or if you had done an air out of shield, that would have been a frame 7 option. Even an up out of shield on the backside, because he crossed you up, would have been frame 11. Um, and the thing is with F tilt, it's like, okay, well, up B out of shield is obviously very committal, right? Like if they shield it, they get a true, punish on you. But here's the thing: forward tilt is also very unsafe on shield. minus 12, minus 13 on shield. So actually, this is a like again, you're doing a very slow option that isn't a combo starter, that is like very risky, right? So
Right.
again, if you want to go for the up B, like at least up B makes sense because you get like a 40-50% like damage out of it, right? It's like high risk, high reward. Whereas this is like high risk, like no reward, right? And it's actually, again, even just like frame data wise, it's actually like way worse than your other options, right? So again, like obviously like back air and neutral air, maybe you don't like combo off of them, but they're like your safest, like least committal options, right? And they're also your fastest options. So those probably are like very good to go for here instead of doing the F tilt. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, which option were you saying? Like
Uh,
what? Up be
ba-
out of shield or like
yeah, basically, your best
back air out of
options.
shield?
Yeah, you could have done back air, you could have done nair, you could have done up B. All three of those are like valid. Um, because like back air and nair should be true punishes on this if you react fast enough. Because his nair is like -3 on shield, but then you have to add the like travel frames because he did a super high up on shield, so it's probably closer to like frame 8 or 9 or something, right? So then if you do like a nair, which is frame 7, because he's not spaced, like he's right on top of you. So like your nair has a backwards hitbox. So even if you don't turn around with it, which you shouldn't, like if you just jump in place in nair, like short hop nair, rising nair, that would have been a true punish, like 100% of the time, on him doing a high a nair on your shield. So that is again like that would be a frame 7 option, whereas you opted for a frame 21 option. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Because obviously dropping shield on the ground is 11 frames, whereas jump squat is 3 frames out of shield. Yeah. So you got punished for that.
Yep.
That's fine. You air dodge. I mean that's a mix up. Uh, Bad on shield again. So
Mm-hmm.
this up tilt, it's not the worst. So up tilt will catch a jump, right? So if he jumps, then that up tilt's like okay. But even if he jumps, um, you doing a neutral air would accomplish the same goal as this up tilt. While being safer, up tilt generally speaking is not a super good move for Young Link. I think one of the real only like niche uses of it. There's like two sort of decent uses for it. One is to like anti-air. They usually up smash is better, but sometimes you don't have the frames for up smash, so like up tilt just barely ends up having some like niche use there as an anti-air. Alternatively, it can be good, um, like in these situations where you're trying to like maybe hit someone, but usually it's better like on the back hit because it's way less minus, and it's also like an alternative to say like a back air. So like because it has like it's a disjoint. So if you think someone's gonna jump in on you, like your back air can sometimes lose to like someone jumping in on you with a hitbox, whereas like
Right.
reverse up tilt has some niche uses there. But now if you're pressuring shield, you essentially went for a read, right? Like this up tilt was gonna hit, assuming he either didn't shield or he jumped in place. Now here's the thing. Again, if in this same situation, exact same situation, if you, instead of doing an up tilt, you had just done, say, a rising nair, right? Rising nair is both faster and more safe than this up tilt on shield. Because one, you can drift with it, right? And drifting makes things a lot safer. And two, it's actually less minus on shield. See, up tilt's -14 on shield, very bad. Whereas nair is -2 on shield, right? And again, you can drift backwards with it. So I don't like this up tilt because, and here's the other thing too, right? It's even if you hit the up tilt, again, it's not a combo starter. Like you're not gonna get
Right.
anything off of it.
Right.
So yeah, don't like the up tilt. That's a
Good.
good forward air. Oh, and that's the other thing I was gonna mention. How do you actually pressure shield? So assuming you knew he was gonna pressure, or assuming you Assuming you thought he was going to hold shield, what could you have done instead? So Young Link's best options to pressure shield obviously are, yes, like falling aerials, falling fair 1, falling nair, falling back air. But if you're already on the ground and you're not in shield, it doesn't really make sense necessarily to go for a falling aerial. So what can make more sense instead, if you're here, so you're not in shield, right? Um, in this situation, what's better is you can go for jab 1-2. Uh, jab 2 is -7 on shield, which is okay as a mix-up. It is technically punishable by Adult Link if you don't do jab 3 because his up B out of shield is frame 6. So technically punishable, but it's a mix-up because you can mix up between whether you do jab 3 or not, which again you can do either the gentleman or the rapid jab. Alternatively, you can do down tilt on shield, which also auto spaces you a little bit. And down
Yeah,
tilt
yeah.
is also like I want to say -7 on shield. Yeah, -7. So
Hmm.
those are much better options to shield pressure because again, like up tilt is frame 14, right? Minus
Right.
14 on shield. Whereas again, like jab 2 -7, down tilt -7, right? And again, like even if you want to do like a rising like fading nair, that'd be like -2. Also, he was a nine lag, and again, Wi-Fi moment, but like
Right.
this should be a true punish with jab because jab is frame 4. This should be like fast enough to true punish his whiffed up tilt. Yeah, because you actually
And
went into
yeah.
shield and let go and everything. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So right, the thing I was gonna say was, so you did this falling forward air. This is really, really, really good. Falling forward air 1 is like -2 on shield. Super, super good situation. Like this is a situation you definitely want to manufacture, and so this was a very good falling forward air. Now,
Hmm.
what you do
So how do
after?
I follow up with that?
Yeah, that's what I was
What's
gonna
the
say.
follow ups?
Exactly. So what you want to do after the falling forward air, especially because you're spaced, um, honestly, it's very good to go for a down tilt. So if you think about the frame data, right? So down tilt is down tilt is frame 8. You just did a forward air that's like -2 or -3, I guess. So that would be a frame 11. Like that'd be like 11 frames. So technically, if he reads that you're going to do down tilt, he could up B out of shield. Though, also to be fair, like Link's up B out of shield is like cracked. Like most characters don't have such crazy options. Also, again, he would have to go for a read, right? So if you do the down tilt on his shield, it's safe because again it's a -7 and that is I think is it mine Link Smash Ultimate frame data. I I can't remember if it's frame 6 or frame 7. His up B.
Be are out of shield
Oh,
or
frame 7.
like
Frame 7. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Sorry, yeah, I
So it
now
would be
just pulled up the
safe.
side.
It would be safe. So like if you do a down tilt on his shield, if he again, technically, if he's frame perfect here, he can hit you with an up B if you go for the down tilt mix up. But again, one that's Adult Link being cracked. Like most characters do not have a frame 7 or better out of shield. That also like reaches this far, right?
Hmm.
Two is that's like basically frame perfect. Yeah, you got it almost as close to the ground as possible. So maybe it's like he has like a 2 frame window to go for this read. And again, the thing with going for that read is if you shield here, because you're out of his grab distance, if you shield here and he up B's out of shield, that's a super big punish for you. Because you can just like charge up B him out of shield for doing the up B against you, right? So it's a high risk read for him to go for. So usually your down tilt is a very strong bet to follow up your forward air one. So down
Right.
tilt's super good. Down tilt's a super, 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 super good option to follow up. Alternatively, you can also go for like jab 1-2. If you're going for like a really crazy read, you can go for like just like a grab in place. I'm not sure why you did a dash grab. That's what you ended up doing. Dash grab doesn't really make sense. He's in shield, which means that like for dash grab to work, he would have to like either like short hop back and like fast fall, or you'd have to like
Right.
let go of shield and like run back. Like those are super
Yeah.
bad options if you think about it. And that's like a huge read on your part, which the other thing too is like even if he's dropping shield and like running back, you're close enough that your tether grab will catch him as he's doing that, right? So if you're
Right.
gonna go for a big read on like okay, he's just gonna hold shield, and I don't want to commit to like safe, like fairly safe shield pressure, and I just want to like call out his shield, and I want to go for a grab. That's fine, but then you'd want to do a standing grab. You wouldn't want to do like a dash grab, because again, it's like the question should always be on your mind. What is this covering? Like what option? My option, what would the opponent have to do for my option to work, right? And are those likely options that my opponent would go for? Like if so, like yes, no, or and why, right? And then how again, like what's the risk reward on any given option that you're going for, right? So
Yep.
that's why I was saying down tilt, it's like yeah, technically you can get upbeat out of shield, but it's not gonna like it's low percent. It's a high risk commitment for him, right? Um, so and it's also like very frame tight, so pretty good option to go for. Alternatively, again like jab 1-2, or you can shield as well, or you can go for a grab. And again, if you shield, right, you're like maybe reading. If you like, you can shield, and maybe you're reading him going for like an out of shield option, whether that's up B or whether that's nair, and then you can punish that, right? So yeah, different options, but yeah, good situation. But yeah, see now you did the
Yeah,
the,
no,
the
no,
dash grab.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This, both these matches, both winning and losing,
Mhm.
were not very heavy, brain power. I was pretty brain dead, which is
Yeah, yeah,
why I wasn't thinking too hard about
yeah.
these
That's
options.
okay.
And
I mean, I'm just trying to like regardless of. Here's the thing, right? Like it's okay to say, hey, these options weren't good, but I hope, like, hopefully, like the whole intent here is to just
Mhm.
like sort of give you a rundown, give you some explanations
Oh
of like
yeah,
what options are good, right? Like
I already have a
regardless.
half page of notes. I already have a
Okay.
half page of notes. I'm getting all this.
Okay, yeah. Because again, it's like
So
it's not really about the game, it's just about okay, like how do we think about like option select, right? Okay, that's fine. You got out of there. Reset. Um,
okay.
you again.
In
This
place, he jumped again.
yeah. This arrow's okay because it is spaced. It's safe. And again, it would cover like a walk in or whatever, or dash in because I forget he has shield. So if he walks, he can actually shield it. But very uncommon. Most players don't do that. So the arrow's fine. Doesn't really set anything up if the arrow's fine. So he's going slightly forward. He's gonna land with the forward air. Offline, you should be able to react to this with like a grab. Like you could like I can't tell how much drift he has, but you could like if he has enough drift to like go forward, like because both Young Link and Adult Link have very low aerial what's it called? They have very low aerial acceleration. So once they commit to like a certain direction, they can't really like reverse it, right? So if he's like committing in, you can literally just space outside of his range, and then you can just um, standing grab it. Very like it's a guaranteed punish that's like no risk to you. Okay, you did an arrow, which is also fine.
Follow
That's
up arrow.
another like no risk. What's it called? It's a no risk punish. Obviously it's a lower reward punish, but it is easier to hit, and it is also safer to hit. So there's nothing
Mhm.
wrong with fire arrow. It's just a matter of like, do you feel confident of like spacing for the grab and hitting the grab? Because obviously the grab is a higher reward. Because again, you can get the down throw into like back air or up air. That's like a guaranteed like 40% damage, and you keep them at disadvantage. Whereas like this fire arrow, the the spacing is a little tight. Like maybe you can get a neutral air, but probably not because he's very low percent. Like the lower percent someone is, like the less hits stun they're in, right? So the more easily they can just reversal use. Like if you hit this fire arrow, he's gonna be about here, and if you try to go for like a follow up, right, which is like a nair, he's probably going to be actionable, and he can like hit you with an air of his own and reversal you. So it's probably better to like just let him get out of disadvantage and reset. But that's like again, like you're gonna end up have won this interaction with 5%, which 5% is better than nothing, right? But obviously,
Right.
you want to look for like bigger openings when possible. Yeah. So you hit that, and yeah, see exactly. So he was actionable. He decided to just retreat. Um, he might have been able to punish you, but again, I mean, it's Wi-Fi. I mean, it's probably hard reaction on his side. Um, and you went for the dash attack. You didn't quite have the spacing. Otherwise, this is fine. Dash attack is a pretty good like anti-air tool, and then you just get whiff punished. That's pretty straightforward. He was maybe expecting DIN. You air dodge. That's whatever. You shield this. This is an up out of shield. This should be 100% reactable up out of shield. His down tilt should be slow enough. I'm pretty sure. Down tilt, yeah, -11. Young Link's up out of shield is exactly, or it's frame 9 at the front, and it's 11 on the back. So you have a 2-frame window to, yeah, frame 9 in the front, frame 11 in the back. So you have a 2-frame window to get an up out of shield here, and he is close enough because he's hurtbox extending. You see how like his head is like poking forward. He is technically like if you don't hit your like window, he's gonna like hurtbox shift backwards, and then you're gonna look silly. But this is technically a window you can hit where like he's poking his head forward. You're gonna hit him with up B, and then that's a very strong punish. That's I think the only punish you have actually because your grab, I don't know if you know the frame data, but our grab is frame 12, but then you have to add the fact, this is a special property in Ultimate, whenever your shield gets hit by any move, you have to actually add an additional 4 frames to the grab. Like regardless of how minus the opponent's move is, you have to add 4 frames whenever your shield gets hit. So actually our standing grab goes from frame 12 to frame 16, right? And his down tilt's only -11, so that'd be a 5-frame window of like where you're essentially going for a read, because like obviously like that would lose to jump squat, like right? He'd be out of like grab range. So basically, and also you could try going for nair. Nair maybe will hit, like maybe, because again he might hurtbox shift back before the nair will hit, because like up B's like slightly bigger range than nair, like in place. So you could maybe go for nair, but this should be guaranteed up B out of shield. You ended up dropping shield and going for down tilt, which again I see you doing this drop shield tilt. Generally I will say that's a very risky strategy for Young Link to go for. Again, I'm not going to say it's strictly bad. There are uses for it. But I would say this is more of a read, because again you're using 11 frames to drop shield plus the startup frames of down tilt, which are 8 frames. So this is a frame 19 move that you're doing, right? So this is actually this is slower than like many other options you could take. It really also only covers one option, right? Which is him standing in place. It loses to him jumping, right? And it also what's it called? Again, it's also like just not very like frame tight to create pressure, and also you're like boxing at close quarters, but this is like an awkward range. Like this range is pretty good in terms of like applying shield pressure. But shield pressure is usually better if you can like have a forced shield pressure interaction. Here is not a forced shield pressure interaction. Again, this is more like a read. You don't actually know whether he's gonna shield or not, right? So this range is okay for shield pressure, but it's really not boxing distance. Like in order to really box, like you'd have to be closer. So you'd have to be like around, like halfway or a bit closer, and then you can actually start boxing with like nair and like back air and stuff, like, which is again like usually where Young Link's better. Like you want to just be like in your either in your opponent's face, right? Like just mashing on them, or far away doing setup. And again, this distance is actually like our worst distance unless you have a specific like shield pressure setup. The problem with this distance is that Again, by the way, I will say at this distance, down tilt certainly is our best option. But again, this down tilt, as I was saying, is essentially a read, right? The problem with this distance is very easy for us to like we're very much at risk. We're at risk for like multiple reasons. Like our range is stubby, which is why we want to be like if we're gonna be like boxing with someone, we want to be like right in their face, right? Because
Right.
our range is stubby and we can get like spaced out by like F tilt
Hmm.
or like a number of things, right? And then we're also like too close. We're like so like we're not close enough to mash, but we're too close to use projectiles. So then it leads us at this like weird range where it's like, okay, which one do you want to commit to? And like you're kind of vulnerable until you can find one or the other. So this is why it's kind of a risky range. And again, you went for this read essentially. Again, I would say usually out of shield, you don't want to drop shield and do a tilt. That's usually like a very it's essentially a read. Usually, what you want to go for instead out of shield is again either a guaranteed punish. If you're closer, then you can do for like go for like a mashy sort of attack, like back air, neutral air, whatever. Or you literally just want to generate space. Like you just want to like maybe like short hop back
Hmm.
or like roll away, right? Just generate space, reset, get into that position where projectiles are safe again. Yeah, see, so exactly. So this is what I was saying, right? So you went for a read, it loses to jump. He actually jumped too high, so you're probably going to be able to like shield. But if he had just like short hopped in place and like done there, you would have gotten hit. Yeah. So you shielded that. Again, look at what you do after shielding. You're dropping shield. You're dropping. This is 11 frames. Like again, he's close enough that you could do like a rising nair out of shield. And he hit the top of your shield. Rising nair out of shield should be like the punish here.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and again, because you dropped you dropped shield 11 frames, like you just got you got hit.
Hmm.
It's fine-ish. Not I okay. This is a really bad one. So the first arrow
Okay.
was fine. The first arrow was fine because like he had like it's like not it's okay. Let's talk about it again. So this was fine because he had just been like he's in landing lag, right? So if
Hmm.
he's gonna jump again, he'll get caught by the fire arrow. Or if he like tries to like walk forward as he's like resetting his positioning, I don't think the shield would cover it. He got hit. So this is fine. It's like a no risk move that you go for, and you don't really get anything out of it, but like chip damage is good in itself, right? So this arrow is fine. And again, you're not really at risk because he's in landing lag and he can't jump and punish you for it. However, the second arrow is very much a problem because the second arrow he could have literally jumped and hit you for it. Like it's very punishable. Again, that's the range you don't want to be at. That's a range where your projectiles are like no longer safe, but you also can't really box. So instead of going for that second arrow, what's probably better is like maybe like again like short hop back or like dash back, like maybe set up like a boomerang, right, to try and control
Hmm.
space. Alternatively, you could go for like an aggressive jump in yourself. If you go for a jump in, it's like it pretty much only loses to reverse up tilt from Adult Link, which honestly is like a pretty uncommon option. So again, good Link, like really good Link players will hit that, but like most Link players won't. Like usually, so like our Nair like hits below, right?
Right.
And his nair obviously also hits below. So like if you're doing like a like this nair at this 45-degree angle, that's or like 45 or like even like slightly more steep, right? He doesn't really have anything he can answer with unless he's like hard reading you and doing like reverse up tilt, right? Because if he jumps, the nair will hit him, right? If he doesn't jump, our nair can be safe on shield. If you like see that he's going into shield, right? He can't up air; it's too slow. So does that make sense? Again, it's like either you want to create space or you want to like jump in aggressively and like hit like threaten something that is very hard for him to punish. And again, like the only thing he could punish it with is like up tilt, which would be like a hard read.
Make space or in your face.
Okay, that's fine. It's fine. Yep. See, returning boomerang's so good. You literally just won neutral for free because of returning boomerang,
Mhm.
and then you got some free percent. And again, like that's fine. And again, even though you're not racking up a ton of percent, it is still a free neutral win, and you still get like because they're in the air, they are technically in disadvantage. It's not a huge deal because it's low percent, but it gives you time, right? It gives you time to do more setup because they have to
Right.
land. And so yeah, you're going for another fire arrow. That's fine. He directionally air dodge towards you. This is reactable, at least offline. You can punish that.
Right. Oh, and
Yeah, yeah. You
but try
you
to
got
read it
it.
back.
That's fine. Obviously there's like stronger punishes and everything else, but like that's whatever. You picked up a bomb. You should have been able to react to that boomerang to shield it. Yeah, that's really good. You actually could have, if you had done a very, very slight drift in, you actually would have hit the bomb and like hit him for doing that arrow without getting hit yourself. But, the idea was there. Okay, so you're jumping forward. This is a pretty precarious angle, actually. You're probably going to want to back off. It's not
Mm,
a bad angle in a lot of matchups. It's a pretty decent angle, but again, here's the problem. You're not quite close enough to be able to like just threaten your frame data of Nair, right? Um,
okay.
and you are at like an okay angle, but Adult Link has forward air. Forward air is gonna beat you. Your bomb angle is gonna like go. It's gonna lob over him. So you can't really do a bomb. Again, if you do like a Z drop like Nair, you're just gonna get stuffed out by like a forward air by Adult Link. So this is honestly more of a situation where you should probably just like fast fall or like jump back and then just like reassess. Something that's very common for I think a very common mistake the Smash players make is not choosing their interactions of like, and what I mean by that is, and I mean this should be like pretty fundamental of like how, again, you go about winning is you always want to create favorable circumstances for yourself, right? You don't have to fight your way out of everything. Like if you're in a situation, if you can avoid like if you're putting yourself in the situation and you realize, ooh, okay, this is actually going to be dicey, you can just avoid it and you can just like, reset it. That tends to be safer. So he actually ended up double jumping and pulling bomb, but yeah, if he had literally just forward aired, you would have gotten hit. Like it was
Yeah.
unavoidable.
Hmm.
So you probably should have like backed off. Obviously, you can also do like an air dodge or something, but I mean, then that's like a weird read. Um.
Hmm.
Anyway. Yeah, that dash attack was
Has
never gonna hit.
over committed. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
he
went
had
too
too
way
much
too early.
momentum.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a good range for a back air. Actually, I really like that. That's obviously it didn't hit, but that is a good idea of like where you can do a good back air. He almost got hit by it. You were right in his face. That's a good position to do back air. Um, that was weird. Um, you can do another back air here. You could have done another back air
Oh.
to protect yourself. It's like -3 on shield. So you ended up just putting yourself in landing lag, which is why you got punished. But if you had
Okay.
done a back air, you would have been like pretty much safe on shield. Because
Okay.
you can do 2 back airs out of a short hop. You can also do back air and air out of a short hop. It's fine. Whatever. Okay, that's fine. Uh, what's the air dodge for? I don't know what the air dodge is. The bomb throw is fine. The air dodge is kind of
Sorry,
weird.
go back a second. I was writing something down.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
go. Just go.
So you did this bomb
Uh,
toss.
I guess I think I was trying to read the bomb, like their bomb, like exploding like right as they throw it or whatever, so that I could
Okay,
avoid be getting hit by it, so that I could. But
that
then
makes sense. So
that's also just a trap.
that makes sense. So I'll say this. There's two better ways to avoid the bomb. Because here's the thing. He's not close enough to pressure you with anything other than bomb and possibly boomerang. Like
Hmm.
he just doesn't have the frames, right? So
Right.
right here, if you're worried about bomb, you can air dodge, but you can directional air dodge like down and back, like towards the edge of the stage. Like yes, you're in the corner, but you're not in any immediate danger, right? Whereas
Yep.
if this
Mhm.
air dodge actually lands you in more immediate danger, where like now you can get hit for free because you're an end lag. So one is you can air dodge down, or you can also double jump. Obviously, you don't want to like always double jump willy nilly, but you're protecting yourself a little bit with bomb, and you can always like fade back and like fast fall. And Young's a very fast faller, so it's not really the end of the world because your opponent's not like directly under you. Like usually you don't want to be directly under someone and like expend your double jump unless like you have a reason for it. But here he's not anywhere close to you, so if you were to double jump, you can just react to whatever he's gonna do, and then you can like decide how you want to land. So yeah. Anyway, if you're worried about bomb, air dodge down or like double jump, and you'll be out
Mhm.
of the threat range. And also
Yeah,
the
keep
bomb
the
is really
space
good.
going. Don't.
Huh?
Yeah. So I was just thinking in terms of like uh going forward like with the air dodge was like avoiding it but like also putting it into the trap so just keep maintaining the space just like trying to stay out of harm's way.
Yeah, but
So
again,
just reiterating for my brain.
yeah. So the problem the problem with the way you did it, right, was you put yourself in a very precarious situation because if he blocks this bomb, which I think his shield might have blocked it for him. Now look at this. You're in so much unlag.
Mhm.
You're just free to get hit, right? Whereas if you had like air dodge down and back, like right here, put yourself at the edge of the stage, you're not in any danger from bomb. So yes,
Right.
you're in the corner, but you're not in any immediate danger to lose neutral. You're not in any immediate danger to get sent off stage again, right?
Okay. Yeah. No,
Um,
that makes sense.
yeah. Yeah, see? So you just got
Yeah,
punished because
and then
you're
I
in a
hit
ton
you.
of end lag. It makes sense.
Hmm.
Ooh, bad air dodge. It
Yeah,
happens though.
yeah, and that yeah.
This should be a free punish, yep. Again, you should
That,
down throw, up air.
yeah, bad
Yep.
habit thing again.
Okay, this is fine. And yeah, now you're backing off. That's good. That's good. There, not quite the distance, but whatever.
Mhm.
Boomerang in place. And you might not get punished for this. So you can probably shield before he does anything. But again, it's much riskier than doing like a short hop boomerang back.
Mhm.
Oh no, you are gonna get punished for it. Yeah. See, if you had done
Right.
a short hop boomerang back, he can't hit you with
That.
anything. Like there's
Mhm.
nothing. And also, you catch his movement in, and you hit. Like you're more likely to hit him actually. He could have grabbed you. I'm pretty sure out of that. I think he had a true grab follow up, but he did an F tilt. Again, look at this. This is always what you do
Try
out of
the.
shield. You're always dropping
Mhm.
shield, and you're going for a tilt. Again, you gotta get more comfortable using either up B out of shield. I think up B out of shield should have hit that F tilt. F tilt, F tilt, F tilt. Yeah, -12. So yeah, you could have upbeat him out of shield, which is the bigger punish, frame
Mhm.
tighter, or you could nair him out of shield. So I think
Okay.
that's one of the biggest habits that I see recurring so far in this game is you need to get better at your out of shield options. You're always dropping shield and
Okay.
going for a tilt, which is like a read. It's bad frame wise. It's not a guaranteed punish. It's risky.
Okay.
Again, read on the forward air. Don't love it. It's okay though. That backer is okay. It does stuff out like a forward movement. It's okay. It can send him off stage. You guys see some stage control. Again, I think you are not relying on your projectiles enough.
Mhm.
But it's not a bad backer. You didn't quite hit it, but the idea is there. Oh, you did hit it. Oh, okay.
Got their leg.
Yeah. Yep. This is fine.
And
Again
then
offline.
I
You
don't know
should be
why
able
I
to
arrowed.
react to this and just like down tilt up beat him.
Yeah, I don't know why I arrowed
Yeah,
instead.
it probably Wi-Fi. This by the way, here you have a true follow up because this is a point blank arrow. You can true follow up this with a full hop nair.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. You should have done full
And
hop nair, true punish,
mhm.
and you
Mhm.
set him off stage again. It's a really good angle.
Yeah.
That out smash wouldn't have even killed.
Right. Yeah.
Um, okay, you fast fell this. Generally speaking, okay, well, like one obviously down in air is like unsafe on shield. So be careful with it. I obviously use it. I actually probably like use it too much. It gets me in trouble. But I do like I'm okay with down air. But if you're gonna do down air here, and you probably don't want to fast fall it. If you don't fast fall it, you can pogo off shield, and then you at least have DI mix-ups of like whether
Hmm.
you keep going like left or whether you start going right. And then you also throw in obviously the pogo hitbox, which is 30 frames after the first one.
Yep.
He had a true punish on you. He just had to up you out of shield.
Hmm.
Again, you're going for a lot of these forward airs in neutral. They're like reads. And again, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying you're going for a lot of them.
Yeah, I
And
think some of them. I won't say it for all of them, but I think in this situation, I think I was also just like in terms of actual like physical like controller movement. I think I was maybe trying to go for the like falling forward air
okay,
down
okay,
tilt thing,
yeah,
but I just wasn't getting my
yeah, that's
uh
that's fair. That's fair. And
my
again,
fall down.
all I'm saying too though is you're being very aggressive at these distances where you probably don't see. This is a distance where I would not feel compelled necessarily to like be aggressive. Like
Hmm.
you can set up some projectiles at this distance. You know what I mean? You could
Right.
have like jumped and like boomerang down, or like jumped and like pulled bomb or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's fine. If you hadn't done the jab, it would have hit. But yeah, that's fine. The idea is there. It's fairly safe. Like against Adult Link, you have enough drift. That's a good backer. You're expending double jump. This is kind of a read. It's okay. It's not the worst. Because I guess you're trying to like see how he's gonna move in, and then maybe you like land with like a back air. That's fine. Obviously, you should be realizing at this point. Ooh, okay. I'm not gonna. I'm like he's standing in place. I'm not gonna quite get there. So this probably warrants you just like fast falling and then like resetting neutral. But see, you committed to it. You might shield poke him actually if you get the exact right hitbox. But I would not like recommend relying on this as like a strategy, especially because people can angle their shield up. So you might shield poke
Hmm.
him, but I don't really super love this idea. Like you should have realized that like you're like you kind of didn't get the movement read on him, and you should just like reset neutral. Yeah, no, you didn't get it. And again, that's a free shield grab, especially because you didn't get it as close to the like ground as possible. So it's like much more minus on shield.
Hmm.
He's gonna do up tilt. He should do up tilt. I guess he's not comfortable doing reverse up tilt. Yeah, that's a good up smash. You saw that he whiffed the nair. He doesn't have any air drift. That's a good up smash.
Wasn't gonna kill, but I was like,
Yeah, no, it's a
it's
good
getting
punish.
closer, getting closer.
It's a good punish. That's definitely what I would have done. I think it's basically optimal. Like maybe you could go for a backer, but like backer is like it would have been like a lot tighter, and then it's like the follow up is like weird. So I think up smash was a very good option there.
Okay.
So you pull that bomb. Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I didn't go far enough. I tried to throw it back on there when they were falling and hit them in their headlock, but then I
Yeah,
just didn't get far enough and got hit by an
that,
air.
that, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, you could have thrown it up. That would have been fine. Obviously, though, like once you got close enough, honestly, you could have just like shielded, and then you can jump Z drop. That's a frame four.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. You jumped. He read your jump with an F tilt. I mean, not much to say there. Shielding is probably pretty good, like shield or like roll or like whatever. But you know, it is technically a mix-up. Okay, he's charging arrow. This should be a free like jump for you. Like it's jump is unreactable. Like it's very unlikely that he gets the read. Even if he does get the read and he somehow hits you right as you're jumping, like you're not gonna die from it. So this should
Hmm.
just be a free jump for you every time, because if you jump towards him, you can punish the end lag on his bow charge.
Okay.
Yeah, you did. That's good.
Good.
And then you should have a free follow up here. I think you didn't do instant dash attack, but if you had done, you might still get it, but you can do instant dash attack out of like frame one dash, and that would have been a true punish here. Yeah, okay, you still got it. So you're going off stage to try to edge guard. I recommend actually. So you're doing a drop zone, which might work out. Drop zone can be pretty good if you like.
I think it did work out. I think I caught him not jumping and did a forward air as we were falling and but managed to get
Yeah,
back up.
so
But
there's like two things that can be good here depending on like his fast fall, his fall speed. You could do a forward air. You could also do like you go under him and then you do like a rising nair. Both of those are okay. I personally, again, they're good, but I think at this angle, it's usually better to have done a jump right here. If you jump, you're actually very safe to do a falling nair on him. He doesn't have any angle to like really
Yeah,
hit you
yeah, yeah, yeah.
at.
Hmm.
Whereas if you're doing the drop zone, you're much more likely to get hit by his nair or like a falling or like a down angle boomerang.
Hmm.
Again, you're probably gonna get it, but I'm just saying like as a general rule, at this angle, it's usually better to do like a jump falling
Jumping
nair.
stall, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You know, if you'd done a if you had down angled his boomerang, he would have stuffed you out.
Yeah. Hmm.
A good pickup though. Yeah, you didn't quite have the frames, but that's not super bad. I mean, he basically just read you doing that. That's okay. I mean,
Hmm.
basically the counterplay there is instead of doing the boomerang, you just do like a nair. It's fine
Hmm.
though. Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's a good landing. You shouldn't really need to shield after that. Shielding is basically good when you need to shield. When you don't
Hmm.
need to shield, then you're essentially putting yourself in disadvantage. So the
Right.
the the drop was good. He's not close enough to pressure you with anything, so you shouldn't be shielding. You should be like using like movement or projectiles or something to like get something started.
Hmm.
Okay, this is fine. So again, he backs off. You have time. Again, you're not close enough to get like any sort of like punish on him, even for
Hmm.
doing the laggy boomerang. So again, at this long distance, I would recommend you should set up your own projectile game.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going very aggressive, and you're not setting up your own projectile game. And again,
Hmm.
it works out, right? But that doesn't just because something works out doesn't mean that it's like optimal.
No, yeah, exactly.
So
Which is
yeah,
which is why I saved the mod because I was just like, I bet even though I won, I'm like doing so many things, and what you're doing exactly what I hoped we were doing. So cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that nair was fine, though. Again, if he had done a Z drop nair of his own, you actually would have gotten stuffed out here. His nair is like I think like 2 frames slower, but he definitely had enough frames to just nair you, and like his nair is bigger and stronger. Like if you nair and he nairs, you just lose. Especially because he has a slightly better angle than you. Like he's very slightly like higher than you, and like that's what you want in terms of like nair range. So anyway, if he had just done nair, you would have lost this interaction. But he did like bomb throw down. He could have done Z drop nair. Um, yeah. Yeah. Again, I think the two biggest things I've noticed so far are just like you're very aggressive, you're not really setting up your own
Yeah.
projectiles, and again the out of shield. I think if so far if you have like any like takeaways, I would say those like focus on those two. Focus on your out of shield and focus on your long range projectile game.
Okay.
Up air. Yeah. Forward air. Yeah. That was good. That was good projectile game. You should do that more.
Okay.
Very risky boomerang, like way too close. It might still work out for you, but like like way too close. Like this is 100% punishable.
Hmm.
I don't know if you like got cut in your movement or something, but at this range, you definitely want to be going for like normals, like nair.
Hmm.
Yeah, he just shielded it. It's like okay-ish because it okay. So so he shielded it. It's like -4 on shield. So the fact that he shielded it, it's actually like not bad for you because -4 is obviously like basically unpunishable, right? And no, it is unpunishable by Adult Link. So -4 fine, but then you're going for this forward air read. Our forward air is very slow. It's frame 14. It's literally just as slow as Captain Falcon knee. So I really don't like the forward air for multiple reasons. And again, I do think that's another takeaway. You use forward air way too much. Um, Forward air is essentially like a read. There's there's a few good uses to forward air. So one is it's a good combo follow up. Like when you were using it with projectiles, that's great. Like you get a true forward air follow up, that's fantastic. Do that. It's also good at covering like slightly like above you. So like sometimes like there are like it is like a pretty good hitbox to like cover some like certain approaches in. So it can be like a pretty good like zoning sort of zoning tool, right? Like a stuff out tool, I guess is the more appropriate word. So that's fine. Um, However, at close quarters like this is not a good use of forward air. So again, let's think about like in what scenario does this forward air hit, right? The scenario where this forward air hits is he jumps, but not only does he jumps back, right? That's multiple, like that's a very specific read. Two is okay. What if he does jump back, or maybe he jumps forward? So like there's different options. Do you have a better option that would have covered multiple options? Yes, you do. You have Nair. Nair is frame 7, right? So jump squat plus frame 4. So
Right.
your Nair would have actually covered the jump back that the forward air is covering, and it also covers jump in place, and it also covers jump back, and it's also just like safer, and it's also faster, and it also like would have covered like if he had done like a rising Nair out of shield, he would have hit you for doing this forward air. Whereas if you had done rising Nair, you would have stuffed him out, right? So basically, this forward air is very specific. It only covers one option, and it's an option that would have also been covered like better, more safely by Nair. So I don't like the forward air.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah.
Caught him on the bad air dodge this
Yeah.
time.
That was good. When people are dead, when people are dead, they're respawning.
Mm-hmm.
Always pull out bomb. Pull out bomb.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
No, that's
yeah, like you have frames. You have frames to pull out bomb.
bomb,
Bomb is a really good
land,
tool.
dead
Yeah.
every time.
Yes.
Yes. Got it.
Weird grab.
Yeah. I thought he would go the other way, but he didn't. So
Yeah.
didn't
Again,
cover
you're
anything.
using these fire arrows when he's really long range, but fire arrow is not a setup tool. Fire arrow is more of like a stuffing tool. You know what I mean? Or like it's used as like in conjunction with other tools. Really, if you have enough space to use a projectile like this, you shouldn't be going for fire arrow. Generally speaking, you should be going for like bomb or boomerang. Those are setup tools. Those are like
Oh, okay.
long term sort of like
Yeah.
game
Yeah.
plan
Yeah.
tools.
Okay.
You're going for just hard reads. Like this grab is just a hard read. Like grab is very it's high risk, like medium reward. Um, you have to grab as Young Link, cause otherwise we kind of just get messed up by shield. Like we can do shield pressure, but our shield pressure is kind of specific. So you do have to grab, but this is like a really risky grab. Like grab is very slow.
Yeah.
It's like 70 frames,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and you have nothing to cover yourself. You don't have returning boomerang. You're not covering the air. Like this is like a grab where like you're just full on trying to read his soul. And generally speaking, that's not a super good game plan for Young Link because
No. No, it is
we
not.
don't kill people for reading their souls like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's just yeah, that's a true punish. It's just so slow. Oh. Hmm. Okay, this is I don't love this recovery, and let's talk about it. Okay, so right here he throws you. This is an angle where your fastest way to get back on stage is tether.
Fair.
You should
Yeah,
zair every time,
yeah.
just every time. Like
Okay.
this is your fastest way on stage. Like there's no reason to do otherwise because like even this jump is like oh okay well you're trying to get on stage immediately. Problem is this leaves you super vulnerable, and us off stage without a double jump you're just dead. You're literally just dead. If he decided to throw bomb here and you're in the air, unless you like perfectly time an air dodge. And by the way, even if you time an air dodge, it would be like a frame trap. Like if he just decided to throw bomb and like detonate it, now you're off stage without a double jump. You should be dead like pretty much every time. So this was slower and more risky than going for tether to ledge. Like it worked out, but still. That's good. I like that boomerang. You see that he's retreating. He doesn't have airspeed. You know that he can't reversal you for it. You're setting up pressure. That's a really good boomerang. It ends up just like trading with his boomerang, but actually it doesn't just trade with his boomerang. You got out your boomerang faster, which means he is an end lag and you are not. So that's a very, very, very good trade for you. And this is what that's also kind of what I'm talking about with boomerang as a setup tool. You are
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
pressuring
yeah.
him, so now you're essentially frame trapping him. So now I don't know this the specific frame data here, but maybe you can get a fire arrow now, or maybe you can like inch yourself closer. You're probably too far away for this to be any sort of true punish. Like if anything, it would be a fire arrow, and it's probably not. It's probably too slow. But even though you don't have a true punish, he is essentially minus on you, right? And that lets you set up. That gives you time to do whatever you want to do, whether that's pull bomb, and now you have a bomb and he doesn't have bomb, right? Or whether that's you set up another boomerang, right? Or again, you try to get like a punish with like fire, or just pressure him, try to like move in on him. Again, the distance is a little awkward. If you were a little closer, it'd be so much of a better situation. But this is still a good situation. So that's a good boomerang. Okay, so you try to basically go closer. It's whatever. This very high aerial on shield. You should like, if you shield it, you should shield it and then just like nair him or up him out of shield. You didn't shield it. Again, you're going past. I think you're over aggressive. Basically, like he's basically setting up his projectile game, and he's cutting off options for you, and you're kind of just like boxing with him, and you're basically just outplaying him, which is why it works out. But it's like not really gonna work out against like better links.
Yeah.
That was a good grab on the on the on the landing. You get him off stage, which is okay. Like that is a legitimate use to like doing like a back throw instead of like a down throw.
Mhm.
Though I would
Yeah.
say your chances of like gimping him are like pretty low. So it's like unless you're trying to just be saucy and like or like again just like go for like a Hail Mary sort of gimp. Usually down throw is still better. Also down throw
Mhm.
can lead to a back air and depending on their DI, you can do back air into the up B, the suicide kill. So
Feeling about what's coming up next because I feel like I might have made an unbelievable misplay here. No, I
that was a
didn't.
good
Okay,
that was
no,
a
that's a
fine
good.
Z drop. You go a little bit too far for my taste, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you just air dodged, and that's super
Yeah, and I
laggy.
died. I think I died here.
Oh
Oh
no,
no, I
yeah,
shielded.
you
Okay.
shielded. Okay. Again, bad out of
Not a
shield.
great
Like this,
option.
like obviously it's a true punish because you did S smash on your shield and you got a parry. But again,
Mhm.
it's not a combo starter, right? Like you have such a better
Right.
punish with an up B out of shield.
Mhm.
Again,
No,
don't love that. That should
yeah,
be like a down tilt or like an air or
yeah,
a grab. Pretty big read on that as well to like go for like run up B.
yeah.
Mm,
I think that was a
he's not
just in
close enough.
case move, not really actually like thought about being like, oh, I think he's gonna. No, that was just extremely precautionary, I think.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, what I was gonna say is the option in itself isn't bad. However, the option use in this case is bad, and let me explain why. You should always be reacting to what your opponent's doing and your opponent's positioning. Your opponent at this like point is nowhere like he's not close enough to threaten your recovery. This upwards boomerang is very good when your opponent's threatening like your recovery and you're trying to like stuff them outside of it. When they're not, again, your goal should be to get back on stage as quick as possible. So your boomerang here is actually giving your opponent more setup time. Because instead of doing the boomerang, what you should have done is you fall, like you fall with forward drift, double jump Zaire. That's your quickest way back on stage. And you're zero risk. Literally zero risks for doing that. Whereas this boomerang is giving your opponent like a good like second and a half more to do their setup. He's not doing anything because he's dumb, but it literally gives him enough time to like pull that bomb and then let's trap you for doing this. Up air? forward air.
Yeah, honestly though, I think I recognize the up air there, but I think my hands and the rest of my body delayed it super hard because if I'm not mistaken, I think I fall with this forward air, but then try to go for another up air, but like 3 seconds way too late.
Gotcha, gotcha.
And
The
if
other
I'm
thing
not
I'll
mistaken,
say about it is again this forward air. It can be a good tool like at this angle, but again against Link specifically, it's like not super good because if he just like falling nairs you, like he just beats you. So
no, okay, I did not do it
you
what I
should do
thought I
a
did.
nair here. Again, if you're jumping towards him, right, and he's jumping, like
Mhm.
this that should just be an automatic nair. Like that's how you
Yeah.
win. You just win with stuffing with frame data. Okay, you did do it. It's just a little slow. Yep, that's good. Again, I don't like this. You should be using boomerang or bomb.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna hit it, but like, it's like not even that good of a punish, honestly. Yeah, good up air though. It's fine. This is one of those things where it's like you're not quite in position to get a true punish. You can maybe try doing like an instant double jump, like nair. Maybe you get in range. Maybe you get reversal by his nair. It's one of those like ambiguous like weird ones. So it's whatever
Mhm.
happens happens. You going for a forward air and he air dodged.
Oh,
You
it
should again you
didn't.
should go for a nair if anything.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you're using too much forward air. You need to go for more nairs.
yeah. I'm gonna put all my Nair stuff in bulk so that I
Okay, that's
don't
fine.
miss my Nairs.
Yeah, that's fine. You go forward. You see that you don't have the angle because he jumps. You need to back off. You need to you need to like fall and like shield, or you need to like double jump back. You need to like get out of here because this is a bad angle for you. Like he's just gonna do like he should do just like a falling nair on you if you decide to keep committing, and you just can't win. Yeah. Okay. So you got out of there. That's fine. So it's whatever. Weird
No,
arrow.
okay, yeah, weird
Okay,
arrow.
good. Got a smash. Okay. Um. So we've been at this for a little over an hour. So
Yeah.
I want to ask, do you want to do more? Do you have any questions? Where are we at?
Honestly, out of a single game, I got way more out of this than I was even thinking that I was gonna get out of it. So I think, uh, for now, I think for today, I think I want to probably call it
Okay.
there. But then probably, if we have time, possibly, find a time follow up next week, maybe.
Yeah, sounds good.
Lovely. Okay, so yeah, how do I pay you?
Venmo or PayPal. I am gonna end
Okay.
stream now. And again, you don't have anything you want, any questions or anything you want to close off with? You're good. We're good.
No, honestly,
Okay.
like I
No,
have all
awesome.
my notes that are just like basically either like reinstated things that they like to look out for, like important things to know about Young Link. Like I got
Awesome.
like
Okay, I'm gonna end stream.
frames. Okay,
So
yeah.
1 sec.